All right, it's time to talk African football on Nigeria Super Fans Forum. Once again, we are back to do the business as usual. My name remains Ashalolo Afemi. James Aguirre is here. Today, of course, like we usually do, we'll be crisscrossing the continent to look at what is happening regarding the beautiful game. We'll start right here in Nigeria, where we'll talk about the Golden Eaglet. Of course, by now they're expected to have left the country for the AFCON, which will be taking place in Algeria. So Nigerians are particularly enthusiastic about that team because of the promises and, of course, some of the talents that have been seen in that team. Then we'll go to Ghana, where there's so much to talk about. And, of course, Sadio Mane is also in the news this time once again. And a prophet is talking about what is happening to Sadio Mane. We'll be giving you all of those. Then the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederations Cup. It was not a good one for Rivers United against Young Africans. I already saw that coming. Of course, I talked about that last week. We'll be looking at all of those on the show today. So we welcome you, our fans around the world, wherever you are joining us from. It's always fun to come around, and we want you to be in the conversation. Please leave your comments in the comment section. James Aguirre, you are welcome. So much to talk about, but of course, you just have to get it done. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much, Femi. Always a pleasure.
Okay. Of course, James, let's start with the Golden Eaglet, the under-17 team. It seems Nigerians are more enthusiastic with this team more than the Flying Eagles. Remember, of course, what we saw the Flying Eagles at the AFCON the last time. But this team, so young, and Nigerians are saying that it seems they hold a lot of promises and future for the national team.
Yeah, Femi, the Golden Eaglet is a team that a lot of people are looking forward to. Thank God they qualify for the under-17 AFCON. We give us the opportunity to see the upcoming talents, because in the past we had the opportunity of seeing the likes of Nwankwo Kanu with Noruma, even the current Golden Eaglet coach, Ndukok Bade, Victor Osimhen, Kelechi Iheanacho. These are guys who came through this on the Golden Eaglet, and we now have the opportunity of seeing another set. Going in the days when we used to always want this team to win any tournament they attend, though they are the record holders when it comes to the 17 World Cup, 5 titles. But I think we've gone past that stage of always wanting them to win the tournament. It should be a platform where we have the opportunity of seeing new players emerge. So. This current team, they won the WAFU B regional tournament, so I think it's a team that has promise, and we just hope that when the competition kicks off in Algeria, we'll have the opportunity of seeing these talented players. I'm not particular about them winning the tournament. I want to see a team that is well coached, a team that is well organized, that understands the basics of football, So we've won the tournament, the World Cup tournament in the past, so there's no big deal about it. It's just a tournament where you have the opportunity of seeing talented players who will go on to represent the country. That's what this tournament is meant for, not using old men to persecute the tournament. At the end of the day, we expect them to now come out and do the needful. When they get to the senior team, they can't. That's when injury starts setting, and at the end of the day, they just go off like that. So, for me, I have high expectations for this team. I believe that they are going to do well. They have a coach who is trusted and tested in this tournament. He led Nigeria to win the 1985 edition of the World Cup, the maiden edition. He was an assistant to, I think, Manu Garba.
Yeah.
And Emmanuel Amunike in 2015, if I'm correct. So now has the opportunity of guiding these young talented players, and let's just hope that they were able to do well at the under-17 AFCON, so that give them the opportunity for them to qualify for the World Cup.
Okay, James, you aptly took everything out of my mouth, but let's talk about the expectations, like you've mentioned. Of course, we also saw the Flying Eagles win the WAFU Zombie Championship, and of course, same as the under-17 team. But of course, when the tournament proper came in, we saw that the Flying Eagles couldn't even cope with the likes of Senegal, the Gambia, and they finished third at the AFCON. Now, let's set an agenda for this team, because for the Flying Eagles, a World Cup ticket is also at stake in this competition. Would you expect them to please at least maybe get to the semi-final and at least pick a World Cup ticket?
For me, the most important thing is for the team to pick the World Cup ticket. That's the most important thing, the priority for this team. Winning the tournament, for me, we just serve as a bonus. The Golden Eaglet have won this competition before. To their first edition, with the first title was in 2001 in Seychelles. Then in 2007, under the late Yemi Teller, they won it in Togo. So they finished runner-up in like 3 editions, if I'm not mistaken. So for me, winning the tournament is just a bonus. The most important thing is to qualify for the World Cup, because we want to have this opportunity to see these guys at the world stage. When you play at the World Cup, is that platform that give everybody the opportunity to see how talented this team is. So for me, that's the most important thing for me. Winning the tournament is not what I'm looking out for. I'm looking out for a team that when they play, let's see something. Let's know that we have the future of Nigerian football is in good hands. That's the most important thing. So I just wish them all the best. They're already in Algeria, so and what we are looking forward to now is for them to settle down in well and give us a good tournament, because I believe that they are one of the favorites, because they have history when it comes to under-17 tournament. So and Ndukogba too understands the assignment, the task ahead, and I believe that is going to deliver.
So if you ask me, I think among the 8 great coaches, I think Nduka Ogbade is so much trusted, and Nigerians are hoping that this team will do very, very well on this competition. Now, the Nigerian Professional Football League, their big season for the 2023 season is still hotting up. Of course, everyone is anticipatorily waiting for the Super 6. And of course, that would determine the winner of the 2023 championship. James, let's go to Ghana now. Recently, we've seen Arsenal falter in the race for the Premier League. And I wouldn't know. I would want you. Thank God I'm even speaking to. I don't want to say an ardent Arsenal fan, but I know you follow Arsenal. Now, Arsenal fans in the UK have turned on Thomas Partey, and some of them have even gone on to blame Thomas Partey for some of the errors that the Gunners have made in recent times. That I've seen them drop points in 3 consecutive matches, James. And some of the comments, I think they are unjustifiable, because out of 11 players, they've singled out Thomas Partey for blame. Now, some of them are saying that his performance have been disgraceful over the past few weeks. Some of them said Thomas Partey is so disappointing, and we know that players make mistakes. They are human beings as we are. But James, I saw the game against West Ham. I saw Partey make that error that led to the penalty, the first goal. But it wasn't the Saka that missed a crucial penalty that could have given Arsenal a 3-1 lead before West Ham came back to that game. Against Southampton, a lot of them were also not impressed. But do you think it is justifiable to blame Thomas Partey for Arsenal's faltering in the race for the Premier League, like we've seen in the past weeks?
I don't think Partey should be the one singled out. After all, in the game against
but that is what some of your fellow fans have been doing.
I know they are just angry because Arsenal they're on the verge of losing the title, so they always look for escape. Okay, if they are pointing accusing fingers at Partey, what about the goalkeeper, the English international goalkeeper Aaron Ramsey, who gifted the first goal? I mean, exactly. So not to
they are blaming Partey for the penalty, for the corner kick that led to Southampton's first goal in that 3-3 draw.
No, me too. I was not happy with Partey too, because I felt he should have done better, because he's one of the key guys in Arsenal. So even the game against West Ham, he caused the first goal because it was too lax. This is not the Partey that I saw in the beginning of the season. I don't know what happened. Maybe he has dropped from a bit, which is affecting his play. So he's getting to the end of the season and getting to that end where. Yeah, fatigue could be part of it. He has played. Remember there was the time he got injured. He's now back and he's playing well. But I think the last few games, especially the game against West Ham and Southampton, he didn't really do much. I won't say anything negative about him against Liverpool because the whole team was under pressure. But the game against West Ham and against Southampton, I think he did a couple of mistakes, but I don't think that should be enough to now salute all the whole blame on him, that as if he's the only one who has been messing up. If you check out the Arsenal, from the goalkeeping aspect to the defensive area, even to the attacking touch, sometimes they can be wasteful. So if you want to blame it, just blame the whole team, not just single out one person. Though I know how annoying it could be, especially when mistakes are coming from one of the key players of the team. But I believe that he's experienced enough to shake this off and come back to be the party that we always know. Remember, he has scored some crucial goals for the team this season. So who says he cannot discover himself and get back to his best? Because this is a crucial period in the league now. Arsenal are just 5 points ahead of Man City, and they have 2 games in hand, which means there's the possibility of them usurping Arsenal at the top of the league. So, and the way it's going, everybody has this belief that if there's anything that's going to drop more points, it's going to be Arsenal. Because if you check out their running to the end of the season, they have very tricky ties, and they'll play against Man City this on Wednesday. So you expect all your top players to come to the party and do the needful. But, when you keep doing mistakes here and there, one mistake, fine, you can allow it. But when it's becoming consistent, that's when people will start to, get agitated and angry. So I understand their feeling, but let's just hope that the team will be able to recover from these 3 consecutive draws and then be able to build on from there.
Okay, some went as far as saying that if Arsenal bottles this title, then it is Partey's fault. I do not agree with that because he's not the only one.
That's going to the extreme. We are going to the extreme already. I mean.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, let's talk about Kwesi Appiah. Kwesi Appiah, James. Recently, we talked about him even perhaps applying for the Black Stars job before Chris Hughton got the job. Now he has come out to confirm that Ashanti Kotoko, I've been talking to him about coming to take charge of the club. But he said he has told them to hold on because he's had 2 contacts abroad. And one of the clubs is the Tanzanian club, Simba, who are playing in the CAF Champions League. And it seems as if Kwesi Appiah is looking beyond Ashanti Kotoko. Remember, he was a former player with Ashanti Kotoko, and he won 7 titles with the club, and of course, the CAF Champions League in 1982. But James, if you were to put yourself in Appiah's shoes, Kwesi Appiah's shoes, what would you do? Your former club, where you spent years, and you even won that, you had memories, so much fun memories. Now, compared to 2 other clubs from overseas, Simba and one of the other teams, Simba, they are doing well this season, and I'm sure they have plans for the future. That is why you can see that translate in the CAF Champions League. They won the first leg quarterfinal over the weekend, so it tells you how much plan they have. So, what would you advise Kwesi Appiah to do in this situation?
For me, I think he has nothing to prove again in Ghana. So, for me, I think he should just make the move. Just like what you said, Simba is one team that has been showing promise over the years. The Tanzanian team, one of the top teams in Tanzania. No matter how small that country is, but they've been doing wonderful things on the continent themselves and young African. So, yes, and this is a team that are well run. It's about the finance, it's about sponsorship. They have everything. So for them to be attracting interest, as in wanting Appiah to be their coach, it goes to show that they know his ability. Somebody who qualified Ghana for the World Cup, somebody who has seen it all. So for me, I think he should take up the job. I mean, he has done everything in Ghana. So I think this should be a kind of a challenge for him to go to Tanzania and prove his mettle. I believe he's one of the best coaches around in Africa, because for a local coach to qualify Black Stars of Ghana for the World Cup 2014, I mean, I remember how they hammered Egypt in the playoff, So for me, I think he should take up the job. I mean, he has seen it all in Ghana. He has coached to the highest level. I mean, what comes better than coaching at the World? And remember, he didn't lose to the eventual champions, Germany, at the World Cup. So he should take up this job and let's see how things go. Who says he will not come back to coach with the Black Stars? I believe he has go for it.
So I totally agree with that. I think he should also go abroad like Mane did when he left Sundowns to try his luck with Al Ahly. Though it didn't last for too long, but at least it is in the record. So I would support Kwesi Appiah to actually maybe look beyond Ghana. And in an interview, he said, I have held talks with Kotoko for the past month, but I told them to hold on because I received 2 offers. Let's see what happens. James, we've been talking about Ghanaians not watching the Bet Power Premier League. Remember there was a time that it was almost resulting in war of words between the GFA and club owners in Ghana, where the GFA accused the club owners of not doing enough. The GFA went as far as saying that they urged the club owners to organize a weekly press briefing before games, but they accused the club owners or clubs of not being fully committed to that. But now, Chris Sutton is urging Ghanaians to always, week in, week out, turn out to watch the Ghana Premier League. Remember, he's been hunting for local talent in Ghana. Now he's saying, he's urging, appealing to Ghanaians to watch the local league. James, I think we should not put the cat before the horse. Now, I think if we do what we are supposed to do, it's the same situation right here in Nigeria, where, of course, a lot of appeal goes each time the Nigeria Professional League is taking place for people to turn out in stadium. But I think if we do the right thing, I think people will naturally turn out in stadiums.
For me, I think football is big business. It has gone beyond just the on-pitch activities. If you want me to come to the pitch, to the stadium to watch talented footballers, what are those things that are in place for me so that I will feel secure? Because you have to look at security. You have to look at, what are those things that, apart from security, what are those things that will attract me? Maybe I go there and I see something that I love to buy, maybe merchandise and all those things. Are those things there? If all those things are not, if you see all these things, that's why we
even officiating. Officiating
yes,
is it's a major part of the game.
Factor. It's not enough to come out to see the players, fans should go to the stadium and support. Fine, all these club side, they have fans, but I mean, it's not just enough to just go to the stadium, watch and go. What are those things that will keep me in the stadium that maybe I want to stick around, I want to see beautiful things, I want to buy stuff, I want to buy jerseys, I want to hang around and do stuff. When all those things, not just go to the stadium, watch ball and leave. I mean, look at the developed countries, look at the Premier League, look at the La Liga. There are so many things to emulate from this, but are we doing it here? No, we are not. So football has gone beyond just watching football for leisure, for the fun of it. There are so many things that will bring the fans to the stadium. I mean, especially that security aspect, especially when you're talking about Nigeria. Even this season, we've seen cases of unruly behaviors from fans or even from officials of club sides. So there are so many things that still need to be worked out. It's not enough to be pleading to fans to come out and watch. What are those things you've put in place that will attract them to always come to the stadium? Not just you come to watch and you go. What are those things? I have so many things to do. So for me, that's it for me.
Okay, so still talking about the Bet Power Premier League in Ghana. Of course, over the weekend, Ashanti Kotoko defeated my adopted team, Edona Stars, 2-1. But Edona Stars are still holding on strongly to the top of the Bet Power Premier League on 47 points after 27 games. Now with 7 games left to play, James, quickly, I'll give you the top 3 teams. Of course, we still have Edwana. They have 3 more points than Beckham United and Medema. Kotoko and, of course, Out of Folk, they are 4th and 5th respectively. 7 games to go, James. Do you think Edwana can hold on to the top of the table? 3 points at the top now.
3 points ahead of
ahead of Beckham United.
Well, the good thing is that
they're about 5. They're about 5 points ahead of Ashanti Kotoko and Hearts of Folk.
Well, the thing is, when you have these 2 big teams still looking around, I mean, you can't let your guys
breathing down your neck.
you can't relax. Just like what is happening to Arsenal in the Premier League. If not for Man City, I think Arsenal would have wrapped up the league. When you have these big experienced teams still, sniffing around, that you still have a lot of work to do. So there's still a lot of games to play, a lot of points to be won and lost. So I think they've done well enough to stay this long, and I also hope that they're able to still keep that belief. For what has kept them this far, I think they should still hold on.
too.
So they still hold on to it because it's getting tougher now, and that's where teams like Ashanti Kotoko and Out of Folk come. They know they have the experience. They've seen it all.
But they have
They've
also
won.
been inconsistent. They have also been inconsistent.
It doesn't matter. That's one thing about this team. No matter how inconsistent they've been, are you going to take the other teams? Have they been able to take advantage? I think that's what the Joanna have done so far. But whether they'll be able to see it out, that's another thing. So I just pray that they'll be able to hold out, because the pressure will set in now. That's where teams like Kotoko and House of Folk strive. They've seen it all before. So yeah, just it.
Okay, James, finally, we've got an explanation for the omission of the Ayu's name in the starting lineup of Ghana's 2023 AFCON qualifier against Angola. Remember, that generated a lot of issues in Ghana. But the team manager, I'm talking about Aminu Shadow, has come out to say that what happened was actually a graphics error from the guys handling the GFA's Twitter handle. And he said it was mixed up by the graphics team on Twitter, but officially, as I said, it was part of the match day squad. He said, but it's a learning process, and we'll keep learning to avoid some of these errors going forward. But I must say that it was blown out of proportion by some people.
Name we omitted, like, I don't know. I don't understand. So we've been saying it that until the Black Stars, until the GFA, the people running football, until they put the right things in place, the Black Stars are going to continue to wait for their first AFCON title, because all this distraction, they don't need this thing now. They have a new coach.
Massive blunder.
Yeah, because
people began to read different meaning to what happened.
Exactly, and they start distracting the team now, and a lot of people start saying things, and they start affecting the players. I mean, before we were talking about them hiring the coach, they've gotten one. Some people still came out to complain. Christian wasn't their choice. Now the name of the captain was omitted. Whether they said by mistake or not, we'll never know. A lot of explanation will always come up for that. So I think all these things are just blown out of proportion. They don't need all these things now. This is just cause distraction in the team. They don't need it at all. What they need now is full concentration. Like I said, they're going to qualify for the AFCON. There are no doubt about it. But after qualifying, are you going to the tournament with the right frame of mind? Not all this distraction and complaints and unnecessary bickering here and there. So I think since finally has come out to say this is what happened. Okay, let it just end like that. At least let's move forward from here. So that the team will not be distracted. I mean, they don't need it now, honestly, because the players are there already. So that's just it for me.
Okay, so James, Sadio Mane's woes or struggles at Bayern Munich, his first season with Bayern Munich, it's been well documented this season, and of course, a prophet, so-called prophet, in Cameroon, not even in Senegal, like in Cameroon. I'm talking about Prophet Kali MN. He is the leader of Capernaum Church of All Nations, has come out to say that, which is in Senegal, are behind Sadio Mane's woes. I'll quickly read a quote from him. He said, a lot of people envy him, so they are trying to bring him down. They started attacking him through his club, and gradually they will bring him down. People should put this Senegalese player called Mane into prayer. There is something cooking against him by his own people. It's a prophecy, and I saw him clearly, James. But with stats that we've seen this season, Sadio Mane has made 34 appearances for Bayern Munich, and he scored 12 goals and registered 5 assists for a player who was injured for 2 months. I do not think that this has any spiritual connotation. I don't know what you think, James.
If I mean, things like that, I'm not always a fan of when this kind of people come out to make things like this. To me, they just want to be
heard. I expected that from you. I expected that from you.
They just wanted to be popular. I mean, we all know. I mean, the blind man too. We know that man. Especially when you find he has played. He played in Germany before, if I'm not mistaken. Is it Germany or Austria?
I think it was in Austria.
Austria.
I think it was in Salzburg.
Salzburg, yes, Salzburg. Going from one big club to another big club like Bayern Munich. I mean, no expectation will be very high, and just like what you said, he had to struggle with injury, which ruled him out of the World Cup. It has nothing to do with spiritual or whatever. He's just trying to adapt to a new league and a new team. So, and his facts, his statistics are very okay. So, people coming out to just make all these blank statements, they just want to be popular. So, for me, Mane, once he recovers and we'll see the best of him, just like what we did at Liverpool.
Okay, but we should also not underestimate the power of black power in African football or in Africa. We do not really put that on the face, but we cannot also at the same time deny that it also works. James, let's talk about a continent as a wrap up now, because the producer is already threatening me. Let's talk about the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederations Cup. Over the weekend, of course, like I said, Simba defeated Wydad 1-0. These are first leg ties of the quarterfinals. Then Belouizdad lost at home to Mamelodi Sundowns 1-4. James, Mamelodi Sundowns, I think they're up to something. When Mosimane left, a lot of people thought that it was going to be their end, but to strengthen Blanca 2-0. It was an all North African affair. Then the CAF Champions League, if you remember, I said it last week that I wasn't expecting anything from the Port Harcourt-based team. They lost 2-0 at home, did them alternative results around. Then in other places, they play goalless draw at home to Asset. They use to nothing. Before we leave, or James, before I allow you to comment on some of these things as we wrap up now, I'd like to say shout out to City, Lagos State FA Cup final. This Ikorodu FC was established less than 2 years ago, and of course they're already doing well. So we say shout out to you on Nigerian Super Fans Forum. Just quickly, Rivers United in the CAF Confederations Cup, it seems they are at the end of the road right now.
Yeah, for me, I think that's the end of the road. I mean, to lose 2-0 at home, I mean, I don't know the magic that they are going to do away against young Africans. I mean, I wasn't expecting that result. You know, I told you that it's going to be a very tricky tie for them. I gave it 50-50, and I think the way it's going now, I don't see them pulling anything. And
this is a team they've beaten home and away before on the continent.
Yeah, it goes to show that the team has improved, and they've come out and they were able to prove that, you know. And this is a team that topped their own group, that had some North African teams. So you don't take such team lightly. So I don't know the magic that the Guma and his boys are going to do. For me, if they go ahead, it will only take a miracle for them to go through this time around. I'm telling you.
Okay, so the second leg of the ties will be played this weekend. This is where we have to draw the curtain on today's episode of the Nigerian Super Fans Forum. Thank you, James Agberebi, for coming through on the show. And to our fans around the world, thank you for sticking with Nigerian Super Fans Forum. Like I said, we want you to get into the conversation, please, about issues that we've discussed on the show today. Leave a comment in the comment section. We'll see you all during later in the week. I remain Ashalulu Afemi. We'll catch up. Bye for now.